Absolutely. So yes, when do you drop a talent in the main squad, in the men's team, whether it's at the club level or at the international level? Obviously, they're different, but when do you make the choice to drop a talent in the top squad and give him this time, and why?
What? Sorry, just to understand, what do you mean with drop? To drop him
Give him his
from out of the
chance.
team,
No, in the
or give him a
team. When
chance?
you put him in the
Yeah,
team,
yeah,
when you give
okay.
him a chance.
Um, yeah, good, good question. I think it starts with training normally, but look for him. This season he was training with the under 21s, and he asked Del May just outright, "Can I have a chance with the senior squad?" And I think he stands for something, so that's really good. Um, and then I think he just kept performing in the hoofdklasse, and that was a good base to give him a chance in that level in the pro league. And what you see is that at the European Championships with the under 21s, he was starting to grow during the tournament, scored an incredible goal in the final. And that's, I think, that gave him the confidence of growing more. And that's also when he decided actually to make a step to Kampong, because that wasn't decided yet before that. And so that confidence of him made him grow. And I think if you perform in the hoofdklasse on that level, then of course you need a chance at a certain stage. And I think one season is quite consistent. Maybe not in all the top matches, but then you give him a chance, because you see over a longer period in trainings, in matches in the hoofdklasse that he delivers. Well, if that longer period gives you the confidence to be able to play him, then you should play him.
Yeah.
I think that's that simple. It's not a one
Jeroen,
day fly.
not true. Jeroen, when do you drop a talent in the squad and why? What are criteria for that?
So when it's a healthy balance between he's able to perform technically on the field and physically as well. If it's you can talk about internationally going from for us then young red lions to red lions, but also inside the club we give them lots of training possibilities already from a pretty young age. Um, but they need to be physically also ready to perform. And I think that's also a massive bridge that we're trying to gap with our young red lions, for example, is to make them be able to perform at the highest level consistently, one, but also multiple games in a row, and that takes time. And I think that's always a bit of a parameter that we're looking at, because indeed, like Jesse said, it's you can perform for one game, but can you do it in a regular time? Can you do it in a regular time in a very short space of time, because we play tournaments in a week or in 12 days. So that's a big difference between being for us a junior player, if it's at club level, but especially at the national team.
Rijn, a little bit of a variation on the same question for you. When do you take one of the under 18 players in your team at under 21 level? What are the criteria there, and is it a difference? Is there a different criteria set when you say to Andre Henning, now you got to take my under 21 player and push him in the men's team?
I wish it would be that easy that you would just say, Andre, you have to player. Yes, of course, the criteria are a little bit different, because the things that we're trying to achieve and that we're trying to develop at the certain ages differ. I think the physical aspect is definitely one of them, being able to withstand the program of an older age group, but also being able to add some value to the team above. I think what happens if you push players too early is that you always also have a chance of pushing other players out and getting high expectations on them. I think talent development has to be tailor-made. So for some players, it's better to play the under 18 European Championships, but there's also players where we say it's better to bring them up as quickly as possible, because physically there won't be any challenge. Because you always want to have them on an edge where they have to perform to to the limits without getting lazy or without doing the small things. So it's definitely a different thing, and I think the consistency point that's being made by both Jeroen and Jesse is very important for the next step. I think there's definitely different parameters that we look at if we take a kid from the under 18s to come up to under 21s, and it has to be tailor made.
Yeah, for me also looking maybe to under 18s, under 21s is, and also for example now towards Junior World Cup as well, we have some younger boys that could still play under 18s, but we really looking for unique selling points as well. What is their USP? What are they bringing to the table? And then the next step is, okay, they can now show it. Can they show it consistently? And then that's the next phase. But I think especially in that age category, and why would you push somebody early forward is, how do you challenge a person like that? What is their unique selling points? And is that unique selling point something that can also help a group, but also help the player to be outstanding, to be very confident, and to be understanding that. And that's what I really love from Mark Lammers, for example, is to be to try to make that 7 or 8 into a 8 or a 9. Understanding what their USP are or is, and I think that's an important one as well for us to look at. When are we moving players earlier towards a certain age category?
Yeah, what we do is often also now with Telco Camp, most probably will play the World Cup if all is normal as it is. But I think the Dutch approach is also that we find it very important to make those very talented kids also leaders of their teams. So don't push them through too much, because then they will just, they will go through trainings with the rest. They don't have to develop their leadership. And I think what we find more important now is that those talents have to play with their age group as well in tournaments, to make sure that they lead those groups as well, and they can perform consistently, without just having to follow other players.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't think every player has that in him. So I think there's also going to be high or big talents, guys with something very special that maybe don't have that leadership capacities, qualities, ambitions, and then it's something that you have to take into account. So I think I agree with what you say, and I get that. I don't know if Arno van Dessel, for example, will come back to play the Junior World Cup.
Yeah, but leading is not only in word, but it's also in how how you perform in a group. It's not about talking to everyone and saying we need to do this, but it's also, are you able to perform under pressure with your specific talent? You don't have to say anything, but can you deliver?
Yeah.
And so yeah, and I also agree with you, but yeah.